Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. Now it's time for chapter 38. Hopefully I can read. Next on the agenda was a trip to Vegas. Her niece was getting married. It was kind of frustrating. She would be the only family member going single. Then she discovered that one of her niece's bridesmaids was single, and it just so happened that they were flying out on the same flight. When Veronica got to the airport, she got stuck in the security for over half an hour. She was wearing shorts that had a bunch of bling on them, and then she actually had to go into a private room to get patted down. They went through everything she brought. It was crazy, but she had gotten to the airport 3 hours early with the specific intent on drinking. She couldn't start drinking at home, so she wanted to get greased up at the airport. The bridemaid arrived when Veronica was on her second drink. It was perfect. They talked, laughed, and drank. Normally when Veronica traveled, it was for work, and this lady had a little young one at home, so she didn't get away much. So they were really enjoying their freedom. This was a really good day for her. They got to Vegas, and Veronica's sister picked them up at the airport, and they went to the hotel to check in. They dropped their bags off in the room and went downstairs. The wedding party was having the rehearsal dinner that night, so everyone was pretty much on their own if they weren't a part of the wedding. Veronica gambled with her daughter for a while. Then a few people met for dinner, just having a burger and a drink. There was certainly a lot of drinking going on. When the wedding party got back to the hotel, they all met in one of the bars. It was just so much fun. Everyone was so relaxed and appeared to be truly enjoying themselves. So far, this was an awesome trip. A few weeks earlier, Veronica started using Snapchat. She didn't know if she liked this or not. It was a way to easy send pictures that maybe you shouldn't. But it seemed that a lot of people were starting to use this as their preferred method of social media. She hadn't used it much, just a picture here and there. Rick sent a few pictures of his own. It was fun, but it was awkward. Veronica felt like she was always just an extra person in his life, another bed partner, not anything more, which most times that was fine, but when using Snapchat, it really started to make her realize that whatever he was sending to her or doing with her, he was probably doing with others. She mostly enjoyed him and enjoyed this part of her life. She just needed more. She really needed to be special to him, different. She didn't want him to be with she didn't not want him to be with others, but she did want to be special. In the meantime, a couple of the ladies went dancing at the club that was in the hotel. It was really small and not much room to dance, but it was a $20 cover, and it was all you could drink and dance until 3 a.m. Veronica put on her leather dress. It was cool, nothing super special or revealing, but it looked super nice. She was enjoying wearing her dress in public. She was enjoying dancing. She was enjoying dancing next to anyone else that wanted to dance. She was just enjoying being her. One of the guys that was dancing with her wanted to go to her room, but she wasn't attracted to him, so she didn't. She got to her room around 3:30 in the morning. She was pretty loaded and had tons of energy from dancing. She took a great nude picture of herself and sent it to Rick on Snapchat. It was a very nice picture. When he got it in the morning, he responded nice. It was always nice getting a compliment. They chatted a little that morning. Her chat to him back was, "Slept 2 hours and no Motrin." He responded. Then they were done. She actually put on her swimsuit. She wanted to go sit by the pool today. She wanted to go sit by the pool. Today was the day of the wedding, so they had to be ready around 3 p.m. They would meet on the bus and be shuttled to the chapel. So she thought she would just hang out, gamble, and enjoy a few hours before getting dressed. She sat down at the bar and started playing video poker. She also had a screwdriver, hoping to alleviate the morning hangover. She was gambling for about 10 minutes, and then she hit the royal flush for $1,000. She was so excited. She took a picture and sent it to Rick. The jackpot was such a good thing This was just enough money to keep her gambling. It was perfect. Later that morning, she found some more machines and proceeded to win. Not anything as big, but she was winning a few $100s. It was nice. It's so easy to go through a few $100s when in Vegas, so this was a nice little winning. It was time to get ready for the wedding. She went up to her room, showered, styled her hair, and put on her makeup and her nice dress. She met her daughter and her boyfriend in their room, and they went downstairs together. Everyone looked so nice. The wedding party took a limo to the chapel, and the guests all took the shuttle. It was a really nice idea, and this was a really good way to do a wedding. The ceremony was nice. It was simple, but very beautiful. She adored her niece, and this was a perfect day. The reception was held back at the hotel in the restaurant. It was a nice dinner, and there were drinks. There was an extra large Jenga set. This was perfect. Her niece was an engineer, or is an engineer, and watching her climb on the table to remove and add these huge blocks was quite the sight. And she's only about like 4'11". Everyone was having a great time. It was a nice evening. As everyone started to wind down, they went to do some more gambling. And actually, there was a very talkative and friendly man that was talking not just to Veronica, but to her mother and her sister and everyone. He was very friendly and cute. About an hour later, Veronica and a couple other ladies went to the club again. They were dancing and having fun, but there was a group of really young guys that were making Veronica almost feel uncomfortable. So she ended up leaving, and when she walked out, lo and behold, the man was there. He was following her. He sat with her at one of the machines, and they started talking. They also started flirting. She thought for sure this was going to be a night where she would end in sex. But it was not. When they were talking, she had mentioned where she traveled, and that she did spend quite a bit of time in the San Fernando Valley. Well, come to find out, that was where he lived. When they talked more, he lived less than a mile from where she would stay when she was there. She found that fascinating and kind of cool. He had said that he needed to use the restroom, so she thought she should too. When she came out of the restroom, he was nowhere to be found. Normally, the woman is the last one done, but he was not out of the restroom yet. She waited for about 5 minutes, then went to check to see if he was at the machines where they were sitting earlier, and he was not. She sat there for another 20 minutes, and he was just not coming back. Boy, was this weird. It was really weird. The first thing she did, of course, was blame herself. I must not be attractive enough. I must not be good enough. She thought it was her. It had to be something about her, right? She just wasn't good enough. She went back to the room so disappointed. She was really attracted to this guy. And what the hell happened? She had put her headphones in and just turned on her music. She danced around her room. She opened her blinds. The windows were tinted and no one could see in. She took off her clothes and danced naked and took photos using the reflection of the windows. She got a couple of actually pretty cool shots, but this was just on her phone. It would have been so much fun to have someone take pictures of her. Real pictures, not necessarily using a phone. The next morning she really thought about this guy just ditching her. It was funny how he had to use the restroom right after he discovered where she visited. He wasn't wearing a wedding ring, but he might have had a girlfriend or a wife. That really had to be it. Anyway, this night was a visit to New York. Or to New York, New York. I was going to New York. They saw a show, gambled, and drank. It was nice. They were able to walk the strip a little bit. Veronica went home the following day and was very pleased on how her weekend turned out. She didn't get laid, but she certainly had fun. And both nights, the night of the wedding and the night before that, she was complimented by people she didn't know about how she looked. That was really nice. So, that Vegas trip was really fun. My niece had a great wedding. And really, the Jenga set thing was funny because my niece is like 4'11". She's a very tiny little girl, and she's got these big, huge Jengas, and they're putting them together, and it was just really a funny sight to watch. And, the dancing was cool, but it was weird because when I was sitting with that guy, it was, he had his hands on my knees and, rubbing my leg, and then all of a sudden he was gone. It was like, where the hell did he go? I tell you, my luck sometimes, it's just crazy. It probably was a good thing. I mean, it was not meant to be for sure, but it was like finally find some guy that, I could have a conversation with, and he just ditches me. Oh well. I mean, I guess that's all part of it, right? And the Snapchat thing, yeah. I only actually used it with Rick. I didn't have anyone else on Snapchat at that time. And actually never really did. I only used it for a little while and then stopped using it right around the time, I started really getting into my Instagram. I really stopped using the Snapchat. It's too easy to do stupid stuff. Way too easy. So, I'll actually talk more about that a little bit. So that was chapter 38.